Hello, everyone. Welcome to the List Engage podcast. I'm Altaf Sheikh, founder and CEO of List Engage, your host. Today, I had the pleasure of sitting down with Tricia Babischkin. Tricia, as we fondly call her, she's a strategic consultant. Tricia does some phenomenal work connecting the dots from a strategic direction for our clients. And we were able to sit down today and talk about strategy during COVID, during the pandemic. How do you come out of the pandemic, and what do clients need to think in terms of going forward into 2021 and beyond? We also spent some time talking about Tricia's role at List Engage and how the List Engage team empowers her to do better. And last but not the least, there was a little bit of a surprise. Tricia spoke a little bit personally about her hobbies and what gets her excited on the weekends and things that she does. So I hope you get a chance to listen to this and enjoy the podcast. Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining today, listening to our List Engage podcast. We call it the Engagers podcast. I'm thrilled to actually have one of our key resources on our team. We've got Tricia Babischkin. We call her Tricia. Tricia has been a part of our team for almost a year plus now. She's a phenomenal resource. She actually has a solid understanding of marketing and sales, and from the ground up has helped many companies over a long career when it comes to digital marketing, when it comes to marketing itself. So the fundamentals of marketing, SEO, organic, inorganic, are all part of the course when it comes to Tricia. She's been in the digital space for a while. We were lucky to have Tricia a year and a half ago. When she came over to us from another organization, she was a reference from a really, really good team member. And Tricia, in addition to being our strategic consultant right now, she's also a Salesforce marketing champion, which is a coveted title in the Salesforce ecosystem. So welcome, Tricia. Welcome to the List Engage podcast.
Oh, thank you, Altaf. I appreciate the invite.
Fantastic. Very good. I'm looking forward to talking to you, Tricia. So here's what we're going to do, right? I think what we want to do is make this interesting for our listeners, for our viewers. You and I both look good, so that's half the battle. We're done. I think all we need to do now is come up with some interesting Q&A. That way, I think the folks listening in, agencies, Salesforce, many others can get some good value as to how we perceive the ecosystem and what we do on a daily basis.
Okay.
Great, very good. So let me start off, Tricia, by asking you a few questions. I'm going to keep it pertinent to the industry first. Then I think we'll talk about some client-specific questions, and we'll jump into your role and a few personal questions and surprises as well. That hopefully doesn't trip you too much. But so I think, Tricia, first question for you. Digital marketing, MarTech, is the fastest evolving space today, right? I mean, if there's one thing that moves faster than light, I say MarTech stack is constantly evolving. Tools and platforms and service providers get added and deleted, right? What do you see the biggest opportunities, horizons that are emerging with all of this acceleration? What are your thoughts? In 2020 has accelerated this change. Some vendors and platforms have gone away. Myriad of new ones are coming in. What are your thoughts on some of the biggest opportunities and horizons on the horizon right now that are emerging?
I think one of the things that 2020 really taught us is flexibility is absolutely critical in our business model, both the flexibility of how we reach our customers and our consumers and how we interact with each other. Being able to seamlessly morph from offline to online. The companies that did that right in 2020 are the ones that are thriving right now as we are trying to figure out how we're going to emerge post-pandemic. What I think is going to happen in the MarTech space is we focus so much on creating connections and being able to go digital. There's going to become a slow roll to start to create connections offline again. And how those pair seamlessly with the online established connections is that's where the real opportunities are going to happen. How we pass that data to people that are suddenly going to be seeing people in person again, which I think would be personally really exciting.
Right, exactly, absolutely. So yeah, I think Tricia, sometimes it's when you talk to clients about strategic initiatives, there's so much to do, but there's also things that are a distraction. When you work with clients on a regular basis, you connect the dots, right? Tricia's role is strategic consultant, so you see the big picture, you see the domain knowledge, you see the domain expertise, and then to absolutely know how you're going to weave and mold those ideas on the platform within Salesforce, and then to be able to measure and bring ROI back to our clients is your day-to-day job. But on a regular basis, Tricia, with the MarTech stack evolving, even if we take it one level down in strategic initiatives, there are so many distractions and so many good things. How do you kind of weed the good from the bad right now and present that to clients? I mean, what's your thinking around that?
So I start with, whenever I approach a client, I really start with this idea that I'm an extension of their team. To bring value in my role, I have to be part of their team. And so what I really focus in on is what will bring them the most value fastest.
Mm.
And then we just chip away as we get through the low hanging fruit. We go to the next, what's the next most reasonable thing to do? That really cuts down on all of the gee whiz distractions that are out
Mm.
there. It's really easy to get distracted by fancy and shiny technology, but
Right.
if you don't have good foundations, that technology doesn't do you any good. So I start to boil it down to the basics. You start with all the low hanging fruit, put a firm foundation in place, and then you start evolving off of that. And that keeps everybody focused. And it also brings really quick ROI to our clients. And they do tend to appreciate that part.
That's fantastic, right? I mean, I think what you just said there is kind of means so much. I think having a current state of the union or understanding where clients are today, a realistic point of view, however evolved or unevolved they are, having a good realistic point of view today, and then understanding what a future roadmap looks like. We do so much for our clients on a daily basis. We see what I say, the bird's eye view and the worm's eye view on a regular basis. For you to have seen that for other clients and present it to them and have seen things that work and don't work, and then to be able to take their current state and take them to the next state with some of those ideas is just so important. But I think that's what lays a solid foundation is what I'm hearing from you. So that's awesome, Tricia, to hear. Tricia, we're truly proud at List Engage to have you as part of our team. But one of the awesome distinctions you got, and by virtue of that, we get is you are a Salesforce marketing champion, and that's not an easy distinction. There's only a few in the ecosystem that are Salesforce marketing champions, right? What has this distinction meant to you? I know you're super proud. We're super proud of you. But what has that enabled you to do for clients, for customers, for List Engage? What does the Salesforce Marketing Champion tagline mean as you go on and help clients, Tricia?
Um, Truthfully, being awarded the title was absolutely amazing. And kind of unexpected too. If you fill out a whole application process and you tell Salesforce what you believe, like it's literally what makes you passionate about marketing was what you present to them, and then you get judged as to, is that good enough? And so that was an awesome thing to say, yes, what I believe is being important in marketing is important to Salesforce. But what doors it's opened up is the entire champion ecosystem within Salesforce have become a collective pool of resources to be able to ask questions, to be able to reach out in deeper into the Salesforce ecosystem and mine for both ideas, but resources, and being able to influence what's coming out in releases because they're asking us what we're being asked.
Hmm.
And that's pretty cool. Now, my favorite thing that I've done so far is that I got to do a personalization seminar for business to business in Australia virtually. I didn't get to fly there, but that was a lot of fun. I got to speak to the Southeast Asian community, Southeast Asia and Australia and New Zealand communities, specifically on personalization and how we do that in this pandemic space. And as we're emerging from the pandemic, that was a lot of fun. I did have to add a whole lot of more U's and S's to my vocabulary because they do speak a different language.
Right. Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, exactly. No,
Um,
that's great.
yeah.
Go ahead, Tricia. You're saying something?
No, that was just, it was one of the big highlights of being able to participate in the program is those opportunities do get to pop up, and you get to meet so many people that are doing so many different and amazing things.
Fantastic.
As
Yeah.
far as what our clients benefit from it, it's a lot of the fact I have extra resources that I've never had in my toolbox before.
Got it. Very
Um,
good. And I think it's important, right? Our listing gauge tagline is Salesforce certified resources. I think as the ecosystem grows, a lot of resources will be needed to implement and service clients. Having certifications is, I think, almost a must these days. Is mandatory. If you're not a certified specialist consultant, I don't think you have the right to serve customers in a way, just because there are so many of these consulting resources available. So it's sort of the barrier to entry is those certifications. But now to kind of go in and become a Salesforce marketing champion adds a level of sophistication to our agency and to your skill set, which I think our clients appreciate. And I think they know they're working with phenomenal resources who've been through the ringer many a times. And that's sort of why you are who you are. And that's the title you have, right? That's awesome.
one
So
of
I think, go ahead.
one of the things that I think really is an evolution in Salesforce is historically they've been very technically certified focused, and List Engage likewise. We have got
Right.
so many staff members and team members that are certified, but those are technical certifications. And when it comes to my skill set, technical certifications is not something that I will ever have a bevy of.
Right.
But what I do bring are marketing best practices and marketing certifications and marketing skills that have to get measured in a completely different way. It's a lot less about how you write SQL code and a lot more about how you approach your customer. By marrying those two things together in the List Engage environment, you get the power of somebody that has a nomer of saying, I've got marketing creds behind me, and now I can leverage these technical creds of the team members that are so much more technically advanced than I am.
Right, exactly. I mean, I think pulling the technical levers and being techno marketers, knowing what to do is critical. But I think being able to connect the dots at a higher level, speaking to clients, engaging them, guiding them is absolutely is what closes the loop, right? So I think Tricia, we talked a little bit about the pandemic. Let's sort of bring it down to client specific questions and the pandemic itself, right? What do you think the biggest impact has been for the clients that you work with, and what is mission critical for them this year as they come out of the pandemic that still hasn't gone away yet, keeps resurfacing in front of us. Tough year last year. People are looking forward to a good year this year. What do clients need to do for this pandemic to be prepared for the future? What does the after times look like, and what's your advice for clients, Tricia?
So when we launched into the pandemic, there was a lot of questions about should we email, should we, what should we say? How do we touch people as everybody's kind of going, what in the world's going on? As it's continued forward, we've all had to figure out that we still have to communicate. And so that part has been going on. What I saw a lot of companies do that I thought was good practices last year was they sent everybody home, and now we suddenly had time, and we had time to rebuild infrastructure. We had time to rethink how we approached things. It was a time for us to do a lot of rebuild, rework, and do truly revolutionary work in their platforms, which allowed them to start thinking about what those next steps were. We implemented a lot more of the deeper technologies last year, leveraging things like Interaction Studio, where they could gather more data to become more personalized. Those all set up the dominoes just perfectly for as we come out of the pandemic to execute on those. We
Great.
laid the foundations in 2020 while we had time, while people were home. And now as people are thinking that they can start emerging, and as we start to move to those next levels, it's time to execute on that. So what I think is going to be happening next is we've gathered data, we are tracking people, we are understanding what our customers are doing more than we've ever known about them before. Now we've got to use it. We've got
Got it.
to push people to create the content to meet these customers where they are.
Perfect, perfect. Yeah, no, I think I couldn't agree with you more, right? I think CIOs, CMOs, if digital was an afterthought, or some folks were doing digital but wanted to accelerate the pace, this pandemic has only made it mission critical for them. The way we talk about it all the time, you need more touches these days. Everything is digital, everything is email and mobile. You can pick up the phone and call, but you order online. You basically set up your appointment for a test drive online. You get your food delivered a whole lot more via online means these days. So everything is going more digital touch points, email, mobile, social, listening, and activating on those data points is so important. And I think that at the acceleration of the pace in digital is something we appreciate because we see that rush. And I'm glad we are all there to help our clients through all of that. That's perfect. So, Tricia, one of the things that's awesome and fun at List Engage to see is you're known for your workshops. I mean, a lot of good feedback comes in from what I call the List Engage and Tricia workshops that you do for our clients to connect the dots. Interaction Studio, just quarterly business reviews. They're a workshop in itself, and the way you do them is phenomenal. Why do you think that hour and a half, 2 hours, or a workshop itself is so impactful to your clients? What are you able to do on those workshops differently than just a regular client call? Talk to us a little bit about it, because I think that's a big differentiator in when our clients get to experience Tricia on a workshop, the results are far different. So I wanted to just hear your thoughts on that topic, Tricia.
Well, I have to tell you, I absolutely love workshops. When we could travel, I love to do them in person. I've had a huge learning curve to try to translate my in-person experiences to a digital experience, which has challenged me to grow, honestly. I used to think that this couldn't be done if I couldn't write on a whiteboard and draw on somebody's walls and walk them through the way my brain thinks. But what the opportunity of every workshop that I do allows is it's not just static best practices, it's a vision and best practices in their world. So I challenge our clients to think differently, because keep in mind, I provide ideas and strategies, but we have to marry them to what they're doing and what's important to them. So they have to be integrally and part of the decision-making process.
Exactly.
I can only bring options to the table, and they have to make those decisions. And while I have opinions as to which are the best options, the whole goal of a workshop is that we all guide each other to the best right next decision. So when you approach it that way, it's a learning experience around everybody on the table. I share with them what I know about marketing, and they share with me what they know about their business. And at the end of those hour and a half, 2 hours, sometimes they're all day. So at the end of that, everybody has grown. And
Right,
that's the
exactly.
goal. And that's what I shoot to aim for, and why I love doing them so much is that I walk out of there so excited about what they're doing. They walk out knowing something they didn't know about how to talk to their customers, and we put a plan together.
Exactly.
And that's the other piece of it is I walk out and I hand them and say, okay, this is that roadmap we just built. This
That's
is
fantastic.
that journey that we just built. We are going to go execute on this. And I take that plan and then I take it back to our technical resources and say, they bought into this. Now let's go do this.
Exactly right.
And
Absolutely.
that's the other exciting part.
That's awesome. And I think what I also appreciate about those workshops are people generally look at workshops or a phone call or those 2 hours as talk time, as that's the call itself. But what people don't appreciate the amount of time that goes into preparing for it. Everything you do prior to the workshop in collecting the client's information, understanding their domain. That's why those workshops are so powerful, right? I think the time that you spend understanding a client's marketing footprint, what the domain involves and where you should take them. It's sort of the culmination of a lot of that preparation happening on that 2 3 hours. So we're thrilled. I think all our clients that go through that workshop, whether it's Interaction Studio or General Strategic Direction workshop, have been really impressed. So that's really awesome, Tricia. So Tricia, a couple of things. Let's bring it down. We talked a little bit about the MarTech stack. We talked about clients and where do you see them after the pandemic. Let's bring it down to List Engage. You are an integral part of our team. We've got a phenomenal group of engagers that loves to help each other, that I think truly stands for each other right now. We are teamwork makes the dream work is what I often say, and I love repeating it every time I get a chance to say that. But let's take it back a year and a half. What brought you to List Engage, and what do you like most about your work? So, two-part question: what brought you to List Engage, and what do you like most about your work, Tricia?
What brought me to List Engage was actually another List Engager who had worked with me in the past, saw an opportunity that List Engage could benefit from my skill set, and I think she pushed, pulled, and begged you to hire me. So I can't falter for that. But what brought List Engage to my mind to want to work for you was I had knew quite a few people that had come to work for List Engage, and honestly, no one has ever said anything bad about it. Every job should have something that's a negative, and when you suddenly hear that there's nothing, it's hard to believe. So I kind of had to see that for myself. The reality is there isn't, because what makes our team so incredibly awesome is the supportiveness of it. I I love we always have our Slack channels open so people can ask questions. I have timed the difference between somebody going, "Hey, can anybody help me do this thing?" And I've watched in 2 minutes, there's 3 answers, one Slack call, and 4 pieces of documentation to help somebody. And I'm like, you just kind of sit there and go, whoa, how fast and how on it, so that everybody feels like they're supported and they're helped. I've I thought coming and working from my house was going to be hard. I've never felt more supported and more connected. And that's a credit to the team that you've built. I've said this for a year and a half. I don't know how you do it, but you're an incredible judge of talent.
Thank
Um,
you, Tricia.
and you've put a good group of very, very talented people together, but there's a culture side to it that makes that talent sing. That I don't know exactly how what secrets you have. Someday I'm gonna I want to learn that. But you you always said that talent trumped location, and that's why we could be so good at being remote. But you also say that culture and working together trumps everything.
Right,
And
exactly.
that part makes our technical resources that are phenomenal in their own right even better, because they're the ones that I reach out to and say, "Hey, I think I want to do this thing. Is it possible?" And they come back to me and go, "Not only is it possible, I've done it 4 times, and this is how you're going to accomplish it." And
That's
I'm like,
great.
that's great.
Absolutely.
So that's that, and that's what gets me up in the morning and says, "I want to come and do this that we do."
That's fantastic, Tricia. Thank you. Thank you for sharing that. And I just publicly, let's just do this, right? Thank you, Julie Marks, for bringing Tricia over to List Engage. So that's perfect. And absolutely, we say talent trumps location these days with a bigger team and everybody working together. Culture trumps talent, right? And
Mhm.
I mean, I think whether I've done the right things with our team and our management team right now in building this great team, whether we are lucky, but I think the thing we choose to do every day is to come to work and empower our team. That's mission critical. That's my role. That's the thing I do all day long while we take care of our customers and do the right things in the ecosystem. Our people are important. I've often said on my podcast, my one-on-one interviews, that I think the black box or the IP we have is our people. And we're not an LLC or a C corp or an S corp. We are a people company. And if we don't take care of our people, we're not doing something right. So I think glad to hear that you come to our company a year and a half ago and you feel so much of a part of our team, Tricia, and that was just fantastic feedback. So let's make it real. This is all great about List Engage, but what's the most challenging part of your job? I am sure the fast pace and things we do, there are holes in our organization when it comes to process structure, but I'm not going to put those ideas in your head. What's the most challenging part of your job when it comes to List Engage? I'm listening. I'm sure others are listening. There might be ways to improve and make them better. What's the most challenging part of your job, for sure?
You know, I don't have a great answer for that question. Every day is different. I recently had the opportunity to interview some potential List Engagers, and they ask, "What is a day in the life like?" And in my world, Monday at 10 a.m. is completely different than Monday at 10:01.
Right.
Um, and every day is different, and every day I face different challenges, whether it's meeting a client's tough deadlines, or it's trying to figure out a quirky piece of technology that doesn't behave like it should or you think it should. Those are all general challenges that happen no matter where you are. We struggle with the dog barking in the middle of a meeting. We struggle with all of those basic things. But at the end of the day, I don't have anything that I can point to and say, well, Listing Age would be perfect if it wasn't for this. It's the truth of the matter is, my day is hard and the work is difficult because it's challenging. And I love every minute of it because it's my day is overflowing and my work is challenging and it's rewarding. And I couldn't complain about that.
That's
I
fantastic.
love that my leadership empowers me to have and build my day the way I can and the way that I provide the most value to my clients. And then they get out of my way and they let me do that. And it works.
Great.
I couldn't ask for a better organization because of that. And I'm hard pressed to tell you that there's something that you need to fix. Kind of don't meddle with it.
Great. No, I think Tricia, that's a thank you. Thank you for the kind words. Great answer. But I clearly feel right. Like every organization is a work in progress. I often say that happy fights in an organization are the good fights. Those are the challenges we need to have. We need to respect our peers, understand their point of view, understand their perspective, understand what they're going through, and try to work with each other. I mean, the superpower in the world, United States of America, has its own set of problems, right? I mean, NASA has its own set of problems. These are some of the best managed organizations on the planet and in the world right now. I mean, Listing Age, we don't stand a chance not to have problems. We will have our problems. I think we're going to pull together as a team and solve it for each other and learn along the way. That's just the way I look at it, right? So, and I know we talked about it. That's what sets Listing Age apart, and I think I'm proud of that, and I'm glad to have team members like you, Tricia, who believe in our culture, who believe in our mission, and are ready to come to work every day and march forward. So that's fantastic. So, Tricia, one more client question. Then I'm going to get you to take the 8 ball and predict something for us. But just tell me, putting you on the spot here, an interesting story. How has Listing Gauge saved the day for a client? I mean, lots of work on a daily basis, but talk to me about Listing Gauge saving the day for a client. Any examples come to mind, Tricia?
Um, well, I think that when we think about saving the day and the things that I get to touch, because I do a lot of the planning work,
Right.
there's not a whole lot of like that last minute swoop in and
Mm,
go, oh, we fixed this thing. What we wind up what I get to see, what I know about is a lot more of the hard work that goes into preparing to excel, um, and working with our clients to set them up for success. Um, so I don't have the grand story of something was broken in the middle of the night,
right, right, right.
somebody fixed it. What I can tell you is that I have worked with clients to propose that they think about their email strategy differently and they rethink why and how they touch people with their messaging and what they should say.
Mhm.
And in that, I know that we have made a difference.
Great.
We had a medical client, a healthcare client that I absolutely loved working with because what they're doing is phenomenal. It's really exciting work. And somebody told them along the way they should have an email program, but they didn't know what they were going to do with it really. And in those workshops, that's what we did is we figured out what the purpose was going to be and why and what we were going to do. At the end of the day, we saved their salespeople a touch base with doctors that didn't have the time to talk to sales reps, that needed to be
Mm,
focused on patients. And so that's what we did for them.
great. No,
Is it the Cape moment where we swoop in and save the day? No, but at the end of the day, we gave their program purpose and drive and made it successful because they didn't know what they were doing before.
And then that's fantastic, right? I think some of these answers can be interesting. How did you save the day for a client? But if you don't have to save the day, that's even better
Yeah.
because saving the day means you are in the trenches. You are jumping at 11 p.m. at night and spending a weekend doing things, which is part of our work and what we do on a regular basis for our clients. But I think if you can prepare well, strategize in advance, have clearly marked deliverables, then you don't have to save the day. Save the day stories are great, but let's avoid saving the day. Let's try and march to the beat and get timely deliverables. And I think that's a good way to look at it. So thanks, Tricia. That was good. I have a couple of personal questions that I'm going to pepper you with next. But one thing, let's just talk about this. I mean, you are our strategic consultant. You talk to clients on a regular basis. Um, if you had the eight ball, if you had the crystal ball, predict, right? Where is the industry going in 2 years? What do you see? Where will it be? Starting today, 2 years from now, what's the momentum and the shift? What do you see?
So, what I see happening over the next 2 years in digital marketing is it's going to be about technology. It's going to be about data gathering and data processing and data predictions more than we've ever seen before. Um, I can tell you that in the history of people trying to sell things to other people, the concept of what we do in marketing has not changed.
Right?
The core value of what marketing really is, it hasn't changed for the past 100 years, and it won't change for the next 100 years. It's the how. So when we turn to the turn of the 20th century, we were talking newspapers and word of mouth. And now we're talking social media as the new word of mouth, and we're talking emails and personalized web experiences. Those are where that's where we are now. And going forward, it's going to be those ever more fast changing technology pieces. But what we do and why we do it doesn't actually ever change. I
Right.
say it's the worst kept secret in marketing is this isn't about it isn't about whether we talk business to business or business to customer or B to B to C or any other combination of letters. I joked one day, I said, this is all H to H. It's human to human.
Right.
And at the end of the day, the other side of that screen is sitting another human that's got the same problems that you have, that you are going to try to help them solve. And if you can do that and you can do it better than your competitor, you win. And
Yeah.
that's what we do.
Yeah. I mean, 100 years ago, shopkeepers were engaging consumers that walked into their store with relevancy, personal touch, and wanting repeat customers. We do the exact same thing today. It's just that there's tons of data, many channels, fragmented information, and data sets coming at us, right? And I think, and that's sort of what's so important. We are doing all of the basic stuff, but the stack in front of us is large, is complicated, is so fragmented, and I think folks like you and me and our team get to stay on the forefront of digital evolution and are able to take in those platforms, take in those channels, take in the personalization and make things hyper personalized for our consumers and to attract and engage them along the way. So I think we've got our roles are mission critical. Otherwise, imagine people's inboxes and social feeds and accounts, right? I think there's so much nuance out there, and I think what we do is um, truly help our consumers engage their customers in a very relevant manner. So that's fantastic.
But we
Tricia,
also have to
sure,
make sure that we're not creepy.
right,
I think that that is the like when you think about the shopkeepers, they knew the people that came in, they knew what they bought before, they knew to recommend the next item. That was how you do it, and it wasn't seen as being creepy
right.
because there was a personal relationship. You can know a lot about somebody and not have a personal relationship today. And so we have to focus on we gather all this information, but how can we use it and not be creepy, which I think is the other thing that I wind up talking to a lot of clients about is the
Yeah, yeah.
creep factor.
Privacy is paramount. Consent is important. If you can get consent from our consumers, they want you to take that data and engage them even better, right?
Oh
But if
yeah.
they start suspecting that you're snooping on them, watching them, big brother, big sister, then all bets are off. One click unsubscribes is sort of what they want, right? So absolutely, Tricia, good point there. So Tricia, a couple of quick personal questions. Just get to know Tricia better. for our team, for the viewers, for our audience here, who's been the biggest influencer in your life? What's been the biggest influence in your life? Is a person, event? Talk to us about it.
Oh my. To be very, very honest, the biggest person influence in my life is my dad.
Hmm. Oh, you're getting emotional, Tricia. I
You
shouldn't have
can't
brought that
not.
up.
You can't not. He's the one that instilled the work ethic in me. You you know what you have to do and you give them more.
Right.
And that's my dad's philosophy. Um, he taught me to read everything I could get my hands on, to learn as much about what I do, what the world around me is doing.
Hmm.
Um, he's the one that gives me advice to this day when I think about what I'm facing. And at the end of the day, that's it's he also instilled in me the honor and the respect that you face the world with.
Right. Fantastic. Very good. Thank you to Tricia's dad for instilling those values, because we get to have the benefit of those values as part of your work ethic at Listing Gauge, and your motivation and enthusiasm to help our team and our customers, Tricia. So, Tricia's dad, thank you. Please, I hope he watches this segment. So,
Oh, he'll
Tricia,
cry.
absolute final question, Tricia. What is the one thing that we should know about you, but we don't? I mean, surprise us. Is there anything that me, the team, our friends, our customers who may end up watching this don't know about you that we should know, a hobby or something else interesting?
Well, I think the biggest surprise that anybody will ever have about me is I'm a rabid Formula One racing fan.
Wow.
I don't follow any other sport, but Formula One racing is something I love to watch and love to be a part of. Um, it's because, and it's funny because it's the strategy that excites me about it.
Wow.
I love to follow along with what the teams are doing and how they are approaching various races, and what they everything from how they manage tires to engines. It's crazy, and people are always stunned to find out that I am this much of a fan. But my husband and I do a podcast every week ish
Wow.
on Formula One racing, so people are surprised by these
That's
random
amazing. I
things.
absolutely didn't know that. So I learned something new about you and your husband. I mean, that is pretty cool. I mean, Formula One racing. I think the speed and everything that goes on, and precision timing. I've always appreciated that, and for you to say that, and that reason for probably end up liking is amazing. But good to know that, Tricia. Thank you for sharing that with our audience. So, Tricia, I think we are coming up to the end of our time. I'm sure our calendars are busy, but I'm going to give you the last word. Anything else you want to add that probably you want to share with our audience?
Oh, wow. That's not an easy question. Thanks for that. No, I really, like I've always told you, I really thank you for the opportunity to get to work with Listing Gauge, to get to do what we do every day, to be a part of this amazing team that you've pulled together, and the incredible partnership that you have built. Um, I I love the fact that when I get to talk to other industry people, they're like, "Oh, you're with Listing Gauge? We've known them forever." Um, and that part is really, there's an incredibly rich and strong history, that even being here for just a little bit, around a year and a half, is to be a part of it, to know that this is years and years of established work that people really respect. And our team is really good at what they do because of those great foundations. We talk about foundations I build with clients all the time, but there's a foundation at Listing Gauge that we build off of.
That's
Um,
phenomenal. Thank you, Tricia. That's amazing. And I think, what I say to our team members is I may have spent the time to build those relationships over the years. We've had phenomenal success with great people who wanted to be a part of our team. They've put their heart and soul into it, and you folks get to carry that forward, right? I mean, I think the stuff that often I say that we don't micromanage our people. Our people are the linchpin. When you go on client sites, customer sites, you are representing List Engage, you are representing the Salesforce ecosystem, you are representing our values in the platform and the tool set. And for you guys to be able to have that mic or that forum and to be able to do all the right things, a lot of responsibility on your shoulders on how we carry it, what we say to our customers, and to do all the right things. And I'm just honored to lead a phenomenal team. And Tricia, keep soaring, keep flying high. Super proud of the work you've done. Thank you for taking the time to talk to me today, Tricia.